Hello, and welcome to Pood Paw Prince Presents. Hello, my faithful Poodites. Today, on Dramatic Readings, we are going to read a scene in our flagship novel, The Pood, Michigan's Inferno. For those of you not familiar with this wonderful novel, it is broken up into 5 books, and we are going to dive right into the deep end of Book 5. This scene involves the subtle intricacies of God and Mary's interaction after God realizes he has taken a 2,000-year nap. And God needs his coffee. Enjoy. "2,000 years!" Father roared. "Two fist-fucking, Satan-pounding 1,000 years!" Now, Father, calm down. Think of your blood pressure. "You let me sleep for 2,000 years?" "You were tired." Father raked his fingers through his flowing white hair and pulled big patches of it out of his head. He hyperventilated and looked around frantically. "What the f***?" he said. "Where the f*** are we? This doesn't look like my home." He rushed to the window and threw it open. "Mary!" he roared. "This isn't Jerusalem. Where in Satan's scrotum are we?" "Well, dear," she said, "we moved." "Moved?" "That's right." "Where did we move to, Mary?" "Fresno." "Fresno?" "Fresno, California." Father peered out the window at the flat, scabrous scrublands of the Central California farm town renowned for its butt-ugliness. The full moon cast a livid glow over it. Even the full moon here looked ugly, like an eyeball without a pupil. "Why did we move to Fresno, Mother?" "It's a retirement community, Father. It's nice. We have a gated compound with 24-hour security. We moved you here in a box while you slept." "A box?" "It had air holes in it," Mary said helpfully. "Why Fresno, Mother? Tell me the truth." "There are lots of nice Mexicans here, people of our own kind." Father slammed a fist down on the end table, breaking it into 25 trillion constituent quarks. "We are not f***ing Mexicans!" he roared, the whole house shaking from his voice. "How many times do I have to f***ing say it?" "Of course we're not, dear," Mother said, taking hold of Father's hand and patting it. "Just as you say, Father. You're always right. You're infallible." Father snatched his hand back and jabbed a finger at Mother. "Don't you dare patronize me, woman." He looked around. "Messages," he bellowed. "Where are my prayer messages?" He was looking for the metal spike upon which were impaled the slips of paper with prayers sent to him from his people. "Well," Mother said, looking askance. "Where are they, Mother? Tell the truth." "Oh, Father, you're such a Luddite. Times change. There are no more prayer slips or metal spikes. We have an answering machine now." She nodded at the phone. "And a computer with email capacity." She nodded at the computer. "A Mac." Father snatched up the phone and fumbled with the answering device. There were beeps, a pause, and then a recorded voice. "You have 5,354,265,163,424 new prayers." Father ripped the phone out of the wall and threw it to the floor and ran around the living room while tearing hair out of his head. 5 trillion unanswered prayers!" he bellowed. "Noah's dick in Lucifer's ass! What must my people think of me now?" Mother chased Father, trying to calm him. They both ran in circles now. Father said, "Watch out, Mother. I'm going to wax Roth." "Father, please don't wax Roth." But Father went ahead and waxed Roth anyway, and when he was done, the wallpaper had blistered off the walls. After waxing Roth, Father stopped running. He steadied himself against the wall and hyperventilated for a while. Mother stood worriedly to his side, wringing her hands and waiting for the next outburst. She knew that more storms were ahead. An expression of inspiration suddenly appeared on Father's face, as if he had thought of something critically important. "The attic!" he exclaimed. "I have to check on me damned attic." "Now, Father..." Father looked at the ceiling. Bewildered, he ran from room to room. His voice rang out, "Mother! Mother! Where in sheep shit is my f***ing attic?" Mother caught up to Father and broke the news. "Father, I couldn't find a suitable attic in Fresno." "You couldn't find a suitable attic in Fresno?" This is a small town. There are no rentals with attached attics of infinite square feet. Father ran into the kitchen and pounded the refrigerator into atoms. His inarticulate shrieks of rage suggested he was on the verge of waxing wroth a second time. Mother hoped that he would not. She had just repainted the kitchen. While Father vented, Mother stamped her foot and said crossly, "For attic's sake, Father. When we did have the attic in Jerusalem, no one was living there anyway. You always said that no one was good enough for your attic." "The attic is the whole me damned point of everything," Father hollered, throwing up his hands. Then he tore patches of beard off his face. "The only person you ever let actually stay in the attic was our son Jesus, after that unpleasantness with the cross, and then after a month you got tired of him not paying rent and lollygagging about, and you threw him out and told him to find a job and clean up his act." Father, red with rage, punched a hole in the space-time continuum. Then he jabbed a finger at Mother, said, "My workshop. Don't tell me you got rid of my workshop too, Mary." "Of course you still have your workshop, Father. It's downstairs." Father ran downstairs. The globe sat on a bench, under a hot lamp labeled Sun. It was slowly turning. Underneath it, on its pedestal, was inscribed the word Aleph. Like Borges in his friend's basement, Father had to lie down in a certain place and look at the globe. When he did, it became like Aleph. Like Borges, he saw everything all at once. All space was there, actual and undiminished. Each thing, a mirror's face, let us say, was infinite things, since Father distinctly saw it from every angle of the universe. And like Borges, Father now saw the teeming sea. He saw the daybreak and nightfall. He saw the multitudes of America. He saw a silvery cobweb in the center of a black pyramid. He saw a splintered labyrinth. It was London. And so on and so forth. He also saw what was happening in Hell, Michigan. He sprang to his feet and approached the big turning globe, one hemisphere illuminated by the lamp. By this time, Mother had pattered down the steps after him. "Well, my eyes was Satan's thighs," Father whispered with lordly awe. He jabbed a finger at a cylindrical protuberance growing out of the globe's terrain just west of Detroit. "That's a penis," Father observed. "The world is growing a penis." "Now, Father turned on Mother. "Holy rabbits in rut," he yelled, jabbing a finger at the globe. "Do you realize there are now 7 billion thrusting, penetrating piss ants swarming all over this madamned thing?" "Well, Father, you told them to be fruitful and multiply." Father waved his hands around. "I don't like all that. They're supposed to feel ashamed about it. I am not getting any, neither should they." Mother looked indignant. "You knew I was a virgin when you impregnated me, Father." "You could put out once in a while, Mother." Father balled a fist and waved it at her. Then he began jumping up and down in frustration. He let out a howl of primordial rage and kicked the cabinet on which the globe Aleph rested on its pedestal. When he kicked it, the earth cracked under the Bay of Bengal, and a huge tsunami swamped the coastal regions of the nation of Myanmar, also known as Burma. Tens of thousands of simple peasants who struggled to eke out a living as rice growers or fishermen in the delta of the sacred Irrawaddy River were immediately wiped out under a huge wall of water. "F them," Father said about the poor peasants. Then he added, "That's it. I'm fed up with this globe. Run the bathwater, Mother." He put his arms around the globe Aleph and began loosening it from its moorings. "Now, Father," Mother said soothingly, trying to lure him away from the globe, but he kept wrenching at it. "Run the bedamned bathwater, Mother, and this time make it hot water. Not only are they going to all be drowned again, this time it's going to be scalding bath. No ark either. The ark and the two of a kind and the horse they rode in on. They're all going under this time. Here we go." "Father!" "It's the end times," Father bellowed. "Look out, world. This is it. This is the big one. Judgment Day." He had nearly wrenched the globe Aleph from its pedestal. Mother finally put her foot down. "Put down the globe Aleph." Mary hollered in Father's face. Father, stunned by Mother's unfeminine and unwifely outburst, became momentarily quiescent as Mother pulled his arms off the world and tamped it back onto its pedestal. But then Father blew up again. He slapped his face in frustration and then tried to slap the world, a blow that, had it been administered, would have sent the globe spinning round and round and round for a few moments. As one, 7 billion people on Earth would have gasped as the sun in the sky whisked crazily around, night, day, night, day, night, day, in quick, shudder-flash succession. People everywhere would have swooned. They would have oohed and awed at this rapid, out-of-control, celestial merry-go-round ride. Mother dragged a protesting Father away from the globe. But when he saw his workbench with body parts and body part plans strewn all over it, He angrily swept some of the parts off the bench. Then he snatched up a model of the human eye. Studying it, he had a reverse eureka moment, grasping in a flash his own utter incompetence. "Look, Mother," he raged. "The retina is f***ing inside out. Why the f*** did I never notice this before? The nerves and blood vessels lie on the surface of the retina instead of behind it, as is the case in many invertebrate species. This arrangement forces a number of complex adaptations that gives mammals a blind spot." Father slapped his forehead in frustration and said, "Oof, what the blue f*** was I thinking when I designed the human eye?" Mother took Father's hand and patted it. There, dear," she consoled him. "You did your best." Father slammed his fist down onto the workbench, reducing it to a quantum wave function in superposition, encoding every possible eigenvalue of the bench. He roared with self-contempt. "Apparently, my best just wasn't f***ing good enough." Mother gently steered Father away from the quantized workbench. Father said, "Mother, do you realize that 6 muscles move the eye when 3 would suffice? What was I thinking?" "Don't be so hard on yourself," Mary said. "At least you made an eye, Father. That's a real feather in your cap. Did you think anyone here in Fresno can make an eye at all, or even anyone back in Jerusalem?" "Why did I make the pharynx a passage of both respiration and food ingestion, thereby significantly increasing the risk of choking?" Father asked. It was a rhetorical question. "That was stupid of me." Mother led Father up the stairs. There, Father. Why did I?" Father recited a litany of design mistakes that had only now occurred to him, well after the fact. "I'm tired, Mary," Father abruptly announced when they were back upstairs. "Of course you're tired, Father. You waxed wroth this evening." Waxing wroth would tucker out just about anyone. "Mary," Father said, his tone changing, as if he had just remembered something important. "How are you keeping? It's been 2,000 years." "Just fine, Father," Mother said, leading him back towards his bedroom. "I run a small business on my home computer now." "A business? A business? Wives aren't supposed to run a business. They aren't supposed to work at all." Father's hackles seemed to be rising again. Mother steered him towards the bed. "Lie down, Father," she said. "Times change." Father lay down on the bed. "What kind of business, Mother?" Father asked as Mother tucked him in. His eyes were heavy, and his voice had significantly lowered in volume. "I sell images of myself photoshopped onto toast, tortillas, corn chips, and other food items," Mother reported. "They sell like hotcakes." "Mother," he whispered, "I feel so weary." "Of course you do, Father," she said, patting his hand. "You've worked hard all your life. You should rest. Take a nap. A long nap." Father fell asleep and began snoring. Mother sighed. She stroked his hair and said tenderly, "Man finds it much easier to breathe in the shade of exhausted gods, Father." She kissed him on the forehead. Father lay on his back. His white robe was bunched up against his knees, revealing spindly, hairless white shins covered with purple varicose veins. His profound gut rose and fell sonorously as he breathed and snored. One arm dangled over the side of the bed, and the other was splayed over the gong thud of his leonine heart. His hair and beard were wildly askew, pulled by his own questing hands to tatters. The slumbering Brobdingnagian had been tied down by the Lilliputian wires of dreams. Quivers of tiny arrows launched at him from the chthonic depths pricked the flesh of his conscience. In his dreams, the boom and roar thunder of the apocalypse was accompanied by horizon-wide flashes of white lights whose purple-threaded veins crawled up to eternity. Then he fell into a deep sleep, and once again his great dreams and dramas were no more. Mother exhaled a huge sigh of relief, rolled her eyes, fanned her left cheek with her hand to cool her perspiration, said, "Ay, ay, ay." She then tiptoed out of Father's room and gently closed the door behind her. Then she sat in front of her Mac and spent the rest of the evening processing requests for pictures showing her image photoshopped onto the surfaces of various popular food items. Visa and MasterCard accepted. Wasn't that a fascinating interaction with God? Although God does have a bit of a potty mouth, if you ask me. Did you ever wonder how Mary moved the earth from Jerusalem? Does God need a bathroom? How do you ship a piece of toast? Just think of what other important questions you might ponder. So thank you very, 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 very much for watching, and I hope to see you back for more of the Pood. Good night.
my faithful Poodites.